YouTube channel. And if you are new, please subscribe. Yes, guys, welcome to our channel, The Misadventures of
Rainbow
and the Unicorn.
And today,
I almost pointed at the wrong thing.
and today we have a special guest. Like,
Because you guys can see already.
this gorgeous woman right here. We have a special guest. It is Unati. She is one of our friends. She is a psychology major, right?
Yes, we have a psychology major.
And we are here talking about, and the specific reason why we have her here today is because we're going to be talking about mental illness, right?
Mental health.
Mental health, and we're going to be talking about all those things.
A whole bunch of stuff. So
Yeah.
if you feel like this is too heavy for you, please.
It's fine.
Please, like,
We're not here to trigger anyone. We just want to start a conversation.
Yes. And also, we're talking about mental health. So for your mental health, just be like,
Yeah.
you know. So the title of today's video is mental health, is mental illness, right? A valid excuse for abuse. Is that what we're going to title?
Yes.
And is it a valid excuse for abusers?
Abusers.
To use mental
Yeah.
health
Yes.
as an excuse to abuse.
So that's specifically what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be getting into a lot of different things because we've noticed that a lot of people, or some people, let me say that, use mental illness as an excuse to be abusive. So we're trying to, I don't think it is spoken about a lot. So we're trying to, I guess, raise awareness.
Also, in a lot of court cases, like people use that to get away with like a lot of stuff.
Things like murder, things like like a lot of things, people use that as an excuse. So we're not like saying that our opinion is the official thing as to whether it is valid or not.
Definitely not.
We're definitely not saying that.
We're just gonna talk about it, so you guys can leave your comments. You guys can tell us what you think about it. Yes,
Literally just
The first thing we're going to talk about is there a correlation between mental health, mental illness, and abuse? So let's start with you guys. What do you guys think?
I feel like this is a hard one because maybe there could be certain, I'm not even sure. Do you guys think there's like certain things that are similar between mental illness, people who have mental illnesses and abusers?
I think one of the biggest misconceptions out there is the fact that a lot of people with mental illness are violent. And the thing is, stats will tell you that a lot of people who are mentally ill are the ones who usually are the victims of abuse. So there's a lot of stigma around people who have mental illness. There's a lot of stigma around people who have mental illness in the sense that, these people are very violent, these people are, and that's not always the case. There are mental disorders that do trigger aggression, that do trigger this sense of violence from people, but not all of them are like, that's a common misconception with a lot of mental illness,
So,
but also there's studies that show if you were abused, people who said who were abused as a child, like when you get, they do, and I don't get that, because why would you want someone to feel what you felt? You know how horrible it was to be in that situation.
I think
why would you want the next person to feel the same?
A thing we tend to forget is that when people are abused, especially as children, there's a lot of power dynamics between the abused and the abuser. So you, as an abuser, you inflict this sense of inferiority in the person who's being abused. So imagine that is taken away from you. When you grow up, you want to take back that power, and you think that taking back that power means inflicting abuse on someone else. It can be that.
That is the argument. That is the same argument they use in court. But my thing is, I get Uti, you were abused, and I'm not gonna disregard all of that. That I get. But why not seek for help? Why not speak out? Not even if you don't speak out, deal with what happened with you so that you don't inflict it on other people.
But you know what?
There are other ways to deal with it instead of making the next person feel what you felt. That's one thing I'll never understand about abusers.
I think another thing you need to take into account is that there's a lot of psychological damage that comes from abuse. So as much as we're wired, like the way we're wired right now is to think, no, the logical thing is to seek help and whatnot. But a person who's in that state doesn't always catch to, I need to seek help. Because sometimes you don't even know that you have psychological trauma. So you're out here, you're traumatized, you're this, you're that, but you're not actually conscious of it yet. That's the first thing. The second thing is that help is not always accessible. It's especially like in this country, mental health, seeking mental health services is very expensive. Guys, therapy is hey, yo. Therapy is very expensive. So it's not always something that's very accessible to everyone to receive help. Another thing I believe is the fact that with mental health, there's a lot of stigma in a lot of communities about receiving help. Going to things like hypermasculinity, going to things like, you need to be a man, especially with abused men specifically. It's not easy for them to go, oh yeah, you know what? Someone's a little wrong, someone's a little off, because they've been socially conditioned to believe that you must be tough, you must crack it down, you must be okay, you must be resilient after this. So I think that's why it goes to, okay, this person, why aren't you seeking help? There are some people who are so damaged that you enter and your mind is wired in a state where you think that you can function like this. You think like things like this are things that are normal, and you're not wired to think no, something is wrong, because you functioned so far with that mental state, so you don't think there's anything wrong with the way that you're functioning, unless until something happens and you get a breakdown. But that is basically the mind.
So it's like a norm for them.
Yeah. With mental illness in general, before you even diagnose, there's this thing where you have to be, your functioning has to be impaired before you can go, oh, you know what? So sometimes it's like, as long as I can do this, you know that, girl, like, is that normal? Is that, but you're still like, you know what, I've been functioning like this, I've been fine like this, I'm gonna be okay, so I'm gonna continue in that mental. Or even like a good example, that cross-nighting is not okay.
That's what I'm saying.
But because you've been functioning like that and it's working,
and you're like getting rest,
and you're passing, like distinctions are coming out of that. So you're not gonna think, maybe I need to rest. You're not gonna think like that. You're gonna continue to function that way. Same for someone who has been abused, who has been traumatized. You're gonna think, you know what, I've been doing okay, until obviously you're gonna reach a point where it snaps. But during that time, you're gonna think, you know what, this is okay. I've been doing okay with all this time. So why not?
And I think also it's important to note that even though with everything said right now, we are not saying it is okay for abuse. You know what I'm saying? It is okay for it to
There's someone like me right now listening to this and saying, you guys are giving reasons why it should be okay.
That's what I
for someone with mental illness. Because that's what I'm quiet over here, sitting here. Like, I hear you guys, I understand you, but someone else could be sitting
say
like
that, so that means it's okay to treat people like this.
Because it's their norm, you must accept routine. It's their norm, so he must treat me like way because she must
that's literally the last
because
I think what we're trying to establish basically is why someone would think that way, why someone would react that way, why that's what we're trying to establish. We're trying to be very objective right now. That's what we're trying to do. We're not trying to place ourselves in those shoes. We're trying to be as objective.
Yes, exactly. So it's just like, I was gonna say something, but I lost my train of thought.
Do you guys think that people who are abusive and have mental illness contribute towards the stigma of mental illness?
I think they do. I think it's because like people think the way that they do about mental illness because they've heard of seen experiences where somebody was acting like very violent, and then they figured out at a later stage that they maybe had a certain mental illness.
Yeah, because of most like cases, like, and also murder documentaries and stuff like that, you'll find out at the end, the serial killer had a mental health illness.
So the media
that's
also
why-
isn't doing a good job at destigmatizing.
They don't show you all these other people. They tell you this person had a mental illness, and that's why all the time they say serial killers have a mental illness and stuff like that. But yeah, and I think I blame the media for that.
And I think it should be really taken into account that not all people or not all serial killers are people with mental illness.
Yes.
Some people kill because they want to kill.
Yeah.
And I think as people we should take, whether or not this person has mental illness or doesn't, they should take responsibility for that.
Yes.
Because then if someone with a specific mental illness can function in a certain way that doesn't lead to harming other people, why can't the other person?
Exactly.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
So I think I also agree with you guys that it does contribute. It contributes heavily on how we as people interact with people with
because now that's
mental
all we think, that's all there is to mental illness. We think that it's just violence, it's just, when there is so many people who function really well, even though they have mental illness.
But even if you do have a mental illness and you kill people, and what about the life you took? Why should we consider you in terms of people who, like abusers and rapists and all of that, shouldn't be killed? The death sentence is because they're human beings and they deserve a chance. They didn't think the next person deserved a chance.
Okay, I get you.
Definitely.
Yeah, right.
And I think it's so important for us to realize that as much as, like, if you have flu, you go see a doctor and you're okay. If your mind is not okay, you need to do the same thing.
Yes.
Just as much as if I have flu and I kill Zambia, no one is going to be like, she has.
Because you give them a chance in the name of rehabilitation, but then they still come out the same and still do the same stuff over and over again.
And there are some people who do get rehabilitated from the whole thing. So it should tell you that. Yeah, it should tell you.
With the system we have, very, very few.
But it should tell you that we should not take away the fact that these people should be held responsible for the abuse they do. Like, if you're in a relationship with someone and that person is emotionally abusing you, we shouldn't go, oh, you know what, Tepo has depression, that's why he acts like this and this and this and this and this. If you feel like, you know what, no, then you should feel like, you know what, no. So I think it does, because another thing people don't know is the fact that you get like a lot of people who have mental illness are the ones who receive this abuse, who are abused, because we come with the conception of, you know what, this person is violent, this person is dangerous, so let me protect myself. And I'm protecting myself by doing what? By inflicting violence and inflicting aggression onto this person. And how do you expect to be aggressive and violent to someone and expect them to just sit like this? Obviously they will retaliate, and obviously when they do retaliate, since they might have a bit more aggression than you might be the one who ends up hurt. So things like that need to be taken into account. So I definitely think, back to the actual point, is the fact that yes, it does contribute to the stigma around mental illness. And the media plays a really huge role, because a lot of the movies that we consume, a lot of the shows that we watch have this sort of story where we see people with mental illness being inappropriately portrayed. Like, there's so many shows that I hate, that I can't stand, because they don't portray mental illness for what it is. What's the show again? What's the show, man? With Hannah Baker. I can't stand that show. I can't stand that show. I watched the first season and then I was like, because I'm like, what the hell is this? You know what I mean? And I feel like it contributes to the stigma that we have interacting with people with mental illness. We carry these like archetypes of these people of, you know what, a person who's mentally ill will behave in this manner and this manner and this manner. You know what I mean? And we also perpetuate this violence towards them because we think, you know, this person is schizophrenic, they might pull up a knife and, you know what I mean? And I do understand that there are some mental illnesses that create aggression inside you, like with what's this thing? With people with antisocial personality disorders are inherently more violent than the next person. So they will go and they will be aggressive and all that, and that's understandable. But that's a certain percentage of the entire population. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Do you guys think it's up to everyone to destigmatize mental illness?
I think yes, in the same manner that I think everyone needs to play. Everyone plays a part. Everyone plays a part in everything. Like we're all connected, guys. Whether we like it or we don't, we're all connected. As much as it's everyone's role to stop racism. You know, even if you don't experience it personally, things like being an ally and what, everyone should be putting a hand towards that, just as much as everyone with mental should be putting it to. Yeah. Definitely.
It's up to everyone. It's up to you and you and you. So like everyone, it is up to you to destigmatize mental illness so that we know it for what it really is. And so I guess.
Yeah. Do you guys think it's possible for us to reach a point where mental illness has been stigmatized and it's normal? Do you guys think we've come to a point right now where it's like we can go, yeah, you know what? Obviously, we're better than guys. But do you guys think there has been progress?
I think we have.
I think there has been progress because we can have conversations like these with other people. Yeah, you know, back then you couldn't talk to someone and tell them that. Because people they were not open to talk about such things because they feel like mental health is something very shameful, something you shouldn't talk about. You shouldn't be depressed. You shouldn't have anxiety. You shouldn't, you know. Yeah. So people didn't get help. So, but now it's still not easily accessible, but we can
having conversations around it.
Yeah, we're having conversations and you can understand it better now.
Yeah. And I think the first step towards anything is starting to have conversations around it, you know, because now that we have conversations around it, I'll know the next time, whoever's watching this will know the next time that they know that someone has a mental illness, they're not crazy, they're not violent, you know. So it we have come, so starting conversations has done a lot. We still have a long way to go, very long way to go, especially in this country with so much violence against women or just GBV in general, you know. So I think we need to be doing a lot in this country. We need to be doing so much. Oh my goodness, oh my God, you know,
this country is very violent.
Do you guys think as we become more aware and we become more alert and we start having these conversations and people know and people become more aware, do you think that then it opens a door for people who don't have mental illness to just go oh yeah, you know, I just, you know, people who abuse in this instance to also take into a thing of, no, I abused this person because I was depressed, even though they don't have depression.
Yes.
You guys getting my question?
Okay, so you're saying that having these conversations, we're giving people who don't have mental illness to actually say they do and then say
yeah. Do you guys think that it opens that door?
But
you know what? I emotionally abused Paul because I feel I was depressed at the time and I was dealing with my own stuff, so I wanted to.
Yes, that's one of the things I have a problem with, as using mental health as an excuse. Because some people lie about it, even if because now maybe anger is a part of the symptoms or something. Now just because of that one symptom, I'm going to use that as an excuse. If you are dealing with that and you acknowledge the fact that you acknowledge that you have that problem means you should be doing something about it. People who acknowledge that they have a problem do something about it. So I don't think mental health can be an excuse. Mental illness in some cases can be an excuse. In most cases can be an excuse.
Yeah, because now if we're gonna say that, then if we're saying it is an excuse, then we're agreeing that people who have mental illness are violent. You know, we're contributing towards the stigma.
Yeah,
so,
that's my question. I think it adds on to the stigma.
It definitely contributes onto the stigma because now we shouldn't be saying, okay, because you have mental illness, that's why you were violent to that person. That's never, people who have mental illness who are violent, it's never solely the reason for their violence. Their mental illness is never just solely the reason why they became violent. So it's it doesn't even make sense to say that people who have mental illness equals abusers.
You guys should also be encouraged to go have these conversations with people who are close to you, your loved ones.
Yes.
Not just people you feel like are the perpetuators of these kind of things, but people also who don't know, who you feel like don't have an idea. Just
It
have
should be a norm,
conversation
because I feel like the more we talk about things, the more people get educated. Yeah.
In conclusion, no, people who are abusers should not be excused by them saying they have mental illness.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone should be responsible for their actions.
I feel like if you can say, if you acknowledge the fact that you have a mental illness, then you can work on it, and that can't be an excuse for the reason for your actions, because you notice that you have a certain problem
And it causes you to act a certain way.
Yes.
Do you see?
You realized, you noticed, so that can't be an excuse because you know you have it.
And even if you find out maybe after a certain incident that this and this happened, you should still take responsibility for what has happened.
Because you did it.
Because you did it. You should not take away from the fact that the damage has been done. What has been done has happened. You shouldn't take away from that experience. You should be willing to learn from it instead. Yes, definitely.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Came around full circle, I guess.
And what do you guys have to say about this topic? Please comment below. Engage us as much as you can. Do you agree with us? Do you not agree with us? If you don't, that's very problematic. If you don't agree with us, tell us why you feel like it should be justified. Tell us why you feel like it shouldn't be justified. Engage with us as much as you can.
Yes, this is an important topic, man. Just like in the comment section down below, just tell us what you think of it. Also, create these conversations in your own lives.
Yes.
Create these conversations, talk to people. It's important, man. I feel like the first step towards making anything right is starting to have conversations.
Yeah.
That's why we always have conversations. So please do that. Please do that.
Yes, definitely. Don't forget to like and to comment and to subscribe.
Hey!
And switch on that bell notification chat.
Hey! Look at you! Look at you!
YouTuber!
Thank you so much,
Thank you so much for
guys.
watching.